is a major topic for people. When people lose somebody important to them, generally they go into depression. And also the big thing is they lose a lack of meaning. It's like the meaning in their life goes away. So many people who are dealing with loss are dealing with that loss of that lack of meaning. And the other thing that they're missing is the lack of love. The person that has died is somebody that they've cared about. And often they establish meaning in their life through that person. So what do you do with that? Well, one of them is you have to help the person understand that spirit is still alive, and that they even though the body is gone, that you can certainly reach the spirit of that person and be able to have communication. And if not communication, at least love. You can experience the love between the two of you.
Wow.
And that's a very powerful thing when that happens. Secondly, of course, spiritually, we need to go beyond the body altogether. We need to be able to access into the soul realms and the spiritual realms. And that's part of spiritual growth, is not to be attached to the physical form, but to be, into the spiritual world. When we die, that's where we're going to go anyways. But it's important for us to be able to sort of get that going ahead of time. The third thing is really the real deep crux of the matter, which is the meaning, which is how do you reestablish meaning in somebody's life when their meaning was connected to being a wife or being a sister or a brother or, something like that. A lot of people don't realize it, but they draw their meanings from that connection to that person they love. For example, my mother died, but her brother had been in World War II. And while he was on the battlefield in World War II, he was almost killed. And in that moment, he had the vision of my mother coming to him and protecting to him in spirit. And somehow he believed that she saved his life, that somehow she was there for him. And because of that, he never let go of her. And then, of course, when his parents died, she became the center point of his life. And then when she was dying, and she died before him, and he was quite a bit older, but she died earlier. He's actually still alive at 97 today.
Wow.
Yeah. And, she lived to 78, so she died much earlier. And he's a great guy. We were joking the other day. He says to me, Ibrahim, he said, I took the California Olympic champion skiing title the other day. And I said, really? I said, in your 90s, you took that? He said, that's right. He said, I took it. And I said, well, how did you do that? He said, well, it's very easy. He said, there was nobody above 80 who enrolled. I was the only one in the entire that could still ski after 80.
Right.
So yeah. He's a real character. But anyways, he held on to my mother, and when she died, there was such a loss of meaning for him that his life kind of fell apart. Mm-hmm. So, we have to reestablish that meaning. And the key to that is usually to find spiritual meaning and connection to God rather than to focus, on a person or an individual. That's the best way out of it.
Great. Thank you. That's beautiful.
Yeah.